Hey, welcome everybody to tonight's webinar about weight loss and how or why some of the things that you've been doing may not be working for you, or maybe they worked in the past and they don't work anymore. See if we're going to debug a couple of those things for you tonight. We'll talk about a couple things that you can start immediately to kind of jumpstart your weight loss program, whether it's you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you've got a lot to lose, or you just want to lose a few pounds or target a certain area. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, a little bit about me and who I am and why should you even care about that. My name is Dr. Bobby Curtis. I'm a chiropractor and I've been practicing for a little over 20 years. And in my chiropractic journey, I have practiced in Atlanta for a few years, in Georgia, moved to Austin, Texas for about 10 to 12 years. And then my wife and I moved to LA and I opened a practice in Beverly Hills. And then we decided that we would move back to the East and we decided on Atlanta. So we're super excited. We've got the new Wellness Studio, now ATL instead of the Wellness Studio LA, open just outside the perimeter in Dunwoody, and we're getting things rolling. So as a doctor, that means I'm a teacher and I take that very seriously, and I just geek out on this stuff all the time, whether it's someone's in pain because of the way they're running or the way they're sitting or the way they're looking at their cell phone all day long, or because they have gut issues and they need to heal their gut, maybe lose some weight along the process, hormone issues. At the end of the day, it all rolls under the health umbrella. And some of the powers be like to say that we are alternative healthcare, but I like to say that we are the alternative to some of the other stuff. I won't say alternative to healthcare, but some of the other things out there. Because we work naturally. So by that I mean we're working with supplements and food and nutrition programs. But let's just kind of get into it today and see where it takes us. Let's see. Some of you, as I said, may be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and others of you just may want to lose a few pounds. And in order to kind of condense this and keep it short and sweet, we're not going to try to dive into the reason why everything can go wrong. But we'll talk about a few things and why maybe they don't work. So crash diets or fad diets. I don't like to use the D word because I do think that all diets work short term, and then inevitably you get tired of eating cabbage soup for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it fails, right? Not that I've ever tried it, but I can't imagine that would be a fun one. And essentially it needs to be a nutrition plan or a lifestyle that you can choose to stick with. And it should be something that you shouldn't feel like you're being punished to eat this way. You shouldn't feel like you're being punished to do a certain lifestyle things. It should feel like something you want to do because it makes you feel good. And so sometimes it's just a mind shift that needs to happen from I can't have that to I don't want that, because when I eat that, I don't feel well when I eat that. And so one of the things I think we're really good at here at the Wellness Studio, and you should know it's not just me, my staff is amazing. So we all work as a great team together, I think. Another thing that maybe doesn't work is the calories in versus calories out model. And if it did, then all we would have to do is strap you to a treadmill for 8 hours a day and give you a carrot stick and everybody would look amazing. But that model inevitably fails because your body is designed to sustain life. And very quickly, if you are burning that many more calories than you are taking in, your innate wisdom will kick in and lower your basal metabolic rate. And if that happens, it slows down heart rate, it slows down digestion, metabolism, and you will start to store fat because your body thinks, well, we're in times of lean and I need to store some fat until the next time I get to eat. So that inevitably is going to fail. And if it didn't, if that model worked, then we would see Biggest Loser reunion shows, which we don't see. Those people all lose a ton of weight, but it's not necessarily the best way to do so, despite what the celebrity trainers may want you to believe. And another thing that I think fails is, and I even tried this for a while because someone once told me, oh, you need to keep your blood sugar steady, so you should eat 6 to 8 small meals a day. Well, as I've been studying over all these years, I finally came to grips with the fact that there's no way that can possibly work, because there is what's called the glycemic index, and when you eat something, it's going to rate how much it changes your blood sugar, for lack of a better term. And so if your blood sugar in between these two numbers, you feel amazing, and you eat something that brings it way up here, your blood glucose goes up, and then your insulin has to go up to lower that, and then you come crashing down. You feel horrible, and you think you need to eat something super sweet again to get back to that. And it just spirals out of control, likes to store belly fat as well. So that one is busted. And then from that, you can kind of extrapolate that, well, if 6 meals a day is going to spike my blood sugar 6 times a day, then 3 meals a day only is going to spike my blood sugar 3 times a day. And then we start looking at, well, what can we eat to maybe not spike it or bring it outside of that range? And then what are things that we can do to maybe lower our glycogen stores prior to eating, so that if we did eat something a little more, it wouldn't bring us up out of the range, and exercises and programs that we can do along the way. And that's probably too much to dive into in a short 30-minute webinar, but I also want to give you tools that you can use immediately. So sometimes people come in and they say, hey, Dr. Bobby, this used to work for me, and it worked for 15 years, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work for me anymore. And why doesn't it work for me anymore? Sometimes, God willing, we get older. So we age, and sometimes our hormones change, and sometimes our lifestyle changes, simply because we've grown up and we have less time to work out, and maybe more responsibilities with our jobs, our family life. If you have pets or children, or if you're taking care of aging parents, or you have a super stressful job, those things all kind of cut into, maybe you didn't have all that when you were eating a certain way and everything was perfect. So we want to look at lifestyle. We're going to refer to that a lot. So let's see, what is probably the number one thing that causes people's plans to derail, or weight gain, or starting to feel lethargic? I would say, if we had to try to come up with a one-word answer, I think it's inflammation. And inflammation also can happen from super stressful lives, right? Inflammation can happen because maybe your gut's not right, and so you've got leaky gut. Maybe some toxins are making their way into the bloodstream, causes inflammation system-wide throughout the body. But your body doesn't necessarily differentiate between physical, emotional, or chemical stress. Those stresses, whether it's the job, the parents, the pets, the children, any of those things can raise cortisol. And that's made by your adrenal glands, which are only little bitty triangle-shaped glands that live right above your kidneys, and they can fatigue. So short term, they can make more cortisol to deal with that inflammation. But if it goes on for a long period of time with leaky gut or jobs or life in general, that can fatigue your adrenal glands, and then we can start to feel lethargic, feel like we need a nap in the afternoon. And then, even though we're super, super tired and we may fall asleep at the drop of the hat, we're awake a couple hours later wondering what the heck's going on. So sometimes we just need to, again, tighten up nutrition. So let's look at what can we do to decrease inflammation. And these are, let's get into giving you stuff you can use today outside of lifestyle, or let's look at nutrition. So I think the 3 biggest ones for people, and not necessarily everybody, we definitely want to talk about sugar. Highly addictive, super inflammatory, and will never, ever, ever allow you to feel like you're getting full or feel satiated from eating sugar, which is why you can totally feel stuffed at your Thanksgiving dinner and think, I need sweatpants. I can't eat one more thing. And then they roll out the dessert cart and you're like, maybe I'll try one piece of that and one piece of that. And don't you remember that used to be my favorite? And it won't trigger satiety, it won't trigger you feeling full. So sugar is not good for you. So we need to eliminate sugar. The other two things I think that kind of broad brush inflammatory process, gluten, which is found, oversimplifying here, if your food comes in a bag or a box, it's probably got gluten in it, unless you're spending a lot of time, energy, and money on buying gluten-free foods, which may or may not taste great. So breads and pastas need to go bye-bye. And the last one, even though they tell us it does the body good, is dairy. I don't think that most of us need it after the time of being weaned from our mother's milk. And it's very inflammatory for a lot of people. Now again, this is just broad brush and it may not be for you, but I think if we take away dairy, gluten, and sugar, you'll see an immediate change in like inflammation throughout your body. And I think you'll probably even see your gut start to calm down some. So that's one free tip that you can implement straight away. Of course, that means, oh my gosh, what do I get to eat if it doesn't come in a bag or a box? There's a caveat to that bag thing. Frozen peas, my favorite, comes in a bag. And they're just as good as fresh because they freeze them straight away. So frozen veg, okay. Frozen fruit, you got to be careful again because of that glycemic index and what it's doing to your blood glucose. For example, a banana is, I read where it's basically the equivalent of eating 6 teaspoons of sugar, which nobody would do on purpose. But yet, I was raised eating banana sandwiches, not only banana sandwiches, but had cinnamon sugar on it. So it's just because we didn't know better. And so I know better, so I have to do better. And if I know better, I have to share that with you. So bananas need to go bye-bye. If you're doing smoothies, don't put a banana in there. Sorry. If you're going dairy-free, gluten-free, and sugar-free, you can have, let's start with meat. Protein's the size of your palm. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, whatever protein it is that you like, and we can talk about that when you come in as well. I want you to focus on vegetables that grow above ground and don't cook them until they're mush, like they do in the South sometimes. So you want them to still be crisp or fresh tasting and looking. The color shouldn't turn to like gray after you cook them. And if the veggies grow above ground, they're not going to be high in the glycemic index, they're not going to be super starchy, and they're not necessarily going to spike your blood glucose, which again keeps insulin low, which doesn't store belly fat. So that's great. Another thing that I think you should start straight away if you're not already doing it is resistance weight training. You don't have to go join a gym. You don't have to spend tons of money on equipment. You can start with some bands from your local superstore, if you will, or online. I'm sure you can find them for 15 bucks or something like that. And you don't have to necessarily start with an hour out of your day. You can start with something as simple as a 12-minute workout. And it can be one upper body exercise, one lower body exercise, and one ab exercise. And if you're just getting started, you can go super light or maybe even not use any weight at all, just use your body weight and start with maybe higher reps and only 2 sets, and then the next week less reps and 3 sets, and the next week so on and so forth. And we can talk about that. I'm happy to talk about that ad nauseum and share with that because I think that's something everybody should do. I do think that you can literally reverse aging with that. I'm not crazy. I mean, I get it. You're still going to be how old you are, but if you have muscle mass, there's less chance of you falling. There's greater chance of you less chance of you getting Parkinson's disease and things like that. So you want to stay active. You want to use resistance training. So that's something you should start straight away. Here's a shocker. Let's work on your sleep, right? Let's dial that in, because when you're sleeping, you're healing. And when you're healing, everything is better. So let's step away from the screens an hour before bedtime. Let's get into a ritual of what works for you. So not everybody is the same. My wife likes to take a hot bath every night before bed. Not necessarily my thing. I like to read a book. I like to not sit in super bright daylight, right? I like to take a walk after the sun starts to go down so that sky is orange and it triggers in my brain that, hey, it's almost bedtime. And then, if I want to get a good night's sleep, I'm not sitting up watching crazy action movies or sports all night long either. I'm turning the TV off a couple hours before bed, turning screens off, and grabbing a book and relaxing after a walk with a dog, whose name is Odie, by the way, and he's adorable. And you score points if you mention that when you come in. So we're talking about the nutrition plan, super simple. If you need help with that because everything you've ever eaten came in a bag or a box, reach out. There's work for us to do. That is low-hanging fruit, and we can start to improve that almost immediately for you. Now, for those of you who made it this far, hooray, you got it. I did what I promised. You've got 3 simple, easy things you can do that's not gonna cost you much money. I'll throw in a 4th, right? And you already know it. Drink more water. Let's target half your body weight in number of ounces, or let's just target 80 ounces a day. And just don't wait until bedtime and try and slam 80 ounces of water, because you will not sleep. You will be up all night going to the bathroom. So do it throughout the day. 2 glasses first thing in the morning, 2 glasses with every meal. And if you're hungry because the TV is showing you something delicious, get up, go brush your teeth, floss, and drink 2 glasses of water. I promise you the hunger will go away. Let's talk about the things that you can't do from home that we offer here in the office. Number 1 is a sit down with me for a consultation so we can kind of debug what's going on for you and get to the bottom of some of the things. Sometimes it's simple. You have a limiting belief of, I can't do that, or this isn't good for me, or I'm supposed to eat 6 meals a day. And truth is, that may or may not be true for you, right? And we'll figure that out. So there are always going to be roadblocks. I realize that you're not sticking with me this long because you are super excited and happy about where you're at right now. So there may be something that's in the way that we need to figure out what's in the way. And if it's a hormone imbalance, what can we do to help balance that out? Driving down inflammation, making sure you're getting some sleep, taking care of your stress, eating properly, calming down your gut. These are all great things that we can do to help dial it in for you. We also have a couple really amazing things that we do here. Something called a metabolic weight loss program. And this program is designed, it's a specific eating plan. It has a handful of supplements depending on what you need. Some people need a few more than others. And with this metabolic eating program, we've seen people lose up to 1 pound a day, or like 30 pounds in a month's time. And that is absolutely amazing. So it's fun to watch. It works really, really well. And we need to determine if you need that. So that's kind of, could I sell it to you straight away without you even coming in the door? Maybe. Would you get exactly what you need? Maybe. Would you know how to do it? Probably not. So we like to start with a consultation to figure out what your needs are and get to where, and just dial it in for you. At the end of the day, we just need to dial it in for you because we're creating plans specifically for you. We have the Ultra Slim. The Ultra Slim is the first FDA cleared device for immediate fat loss. Yes, immediate fat loss. On average, people lose 3.5 inches in 32 minutes. And for women, we're treating the waist, hips, and thighs. For men, we're usually they're worried about their love handles, their belly, their man boobs, and their back fat. And so for men, it's more upper body. For women, we're treating waist, hips, and thighs. We've got 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 really great tips that you can implement straight away without really any cost to you, unless maybe you need to buy some bands or you can do it with some dumbbells, the resistance training. And I'm happy if you want to reach out to me and I can send you a basic kind of starter thing. I do like to work that in with the consultation with people so that I know where they're at, because obviously if you're doing CrossFit and I tell you to do 3 exercises a day, no, right? Like, you've already got it. So we're talking about people who maybe need a little help getting started with that. So special offer for those of you stuck through to the whole thing. Ultra Slim, the one and only immediate fat loss. That price is $4.95 a session, and that is mandated by the manufacturer. However, I've been with them since 2016, and I am what they call a provider of distinction. I'm an expert in Ultra Slim. I've been doing it since 2016. I've taught many docs how to use it. I've helped many offices implement it and get it rolling in their practice. So we know what we're doing here. So that's $4.95. Since I've been doing it for so long, or been with them for so long, I'm able to offer you the first one for half off at $249, which I know the math isn't exactly right, but here's the deal. We're also gonna throw in a lymphatic massage with something called the Balancer Pro, which is an amazing suit that is going to feel like you've got 2 really skilled massage therapists working on you at the same time. And that is going to help push out the lymph and and help detox the body. It's really great for cellulite for any of you that have that. The Ultra Slim, let's circle back to that for a second. How does that work? The red light tricks the fat cells into emptying their contents into the space in between the cells. Then your lymphatic system picks it up and transports it back to the liver, where you're gonna metabolize it. So again, we want all these other things working so that you can metabolize that fat and get rid of it. The lymphatic massage is gonna help push that out as well. So it's a really great tool in conjunction with the Ultra Slim. That's typically $125 a session, and we're gonna throw that in with the Ultra Slim session for $249 total. So you're saving 60% on that. That's typically $620, and you're getting it for $249. So how do you take advantage of these amazing specials? Well, I'll be happy to talk to you, get you scheduled, let them know that you watched the webinar. I don't know, what's the password? Mention my dog. Do any of you remember his name? His name is Odie. I'm not gonna make you go back and watch the whole thing. Odie, O-D-I-E. Like Garfield dog, but not, way better. So 678-882-7774, mention Odie, let us know. We'll get you scheduled for a consultation. We can do the Ultra Slim, or if we need to, we can do the metabolic program, which is an amazing kind of weight loss program. So Ultra Slim is more for fat loss, so you can spot treat if you've got that belly or the spare tire or something going on with your hips or thighs that you really want to target. We can target fat for that, which is amazing for spot reduction. Overall weight loss program, we've got the Ultra Slim, we've got lifestyle programs that we can help plug in for you. The website is thewellnessstudioatl.com. Email is gethealthy@thewellnessstudioatl.com. We look forward to meeting you in person here at the Wellness Studio. We're in Dunwoody at 53 Perimeter Center East, sort of kind of across from Perimeter Mall, just past the Lawns Bakery, and we're in Suite 410, and we can't wait to meet you and help you reach your weight loss goals.